We will now reconvene into open session at 5:08. We had nothing to report in closed session. Okay, the Pledge of Allegiance. Students here?
Come on down.
All three of us can stand up. And then I think you can pitch.
My name is Ava Blair. Thank you for inviting us to lead your meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. We are students from Ophir School and Central Studios. Saying the Pledge of Allegiance helps form a connection to our country, the United States of America.
My name is Jessica Romero. When we say the Pledge of Allegiance, we honor the flag and everything it represents. We are a country with a diverse population. Saying the Pledge of Allegiance instills a sense of pride for all people.
My name is Jasmine Romero. We say the Pledge of Allegiance to start our day at school and begin official meetings or ceremonies, and we honor the flag at special events like ball games. We would like to lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Salute.
Pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. We'd like to invite all three of you young ladies to come up and receive a token of our appreciation and then shake, yep, all of you three, and shake the hands of the board. Come on up. Congratulations. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And you're Jessica, right? Congratulations. Thank you so much for coming. And Jasmine, thank you so much. Nice job tonight.
Two.
Thank you. Somebody came. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
You guys want a quick picture? Sure.
We will now move on to comment session, comments and announcements by board members. Beth.
Am I the wrong one? There we go. Okay, is it working now? Okay. Hope everybody had a good holiday. Good to see everybody. We had a training on Monday in Chico, and I thought it was really well about new legislative things. The Brown Act, the presenter did a great job, I felt. It was interesting and kept it going, and I appreciate that. Also wanted to thank, there was an invitation to come see the movie that's going to be playing in February, so I appreciate that being sent too. Thanks.
Sandra.
I have nothing at this time.
Daryl.
Your mic.
There we go. I got to attend CPI training yesterday, and I, first of all, want to say thank you, Spencer, for that. That was great. It was a good insight to see, just learn about how teachers have training available and have been trained to, handle stressful situations, not only with others and themselves too. I know this can be very stressful, but it's also a very needed thing in our community. So it was great insight, and gave me a lot of appreciation for the teachers and, what you guys do to offer to the teachers. So that was good. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And Bill. I would like to say I did attend the training on Monday as well. It never gets old. You always learn something new. So I appreciate those classes, and the presenter did make it seem like it was pretty easy. I didn't even realize it was almost 8 o'clock. So that was a good thing. So again, also, I'd like to say the same thing as Beth. Everybody, welcome to the 2025 year, and welcome back, teachers, from your vacations. And I just hope to see a progressive and wonderful year, and good luck to all the teachers. And we just thank you, and we appreciate you, and thank you for coming back into a new year. We'll now have comments and announcements by administration. Spencer Holtum.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to everyone out there, and all our staff and students and families. Just a couple quick announcements. Number one, CPI training is training for, it's de-escalation training for not just teachers, but for classified staff as well. A lot of our special ed aides and other aides and employees have that at their disposal. We do it quite often, and we have that renewed a lot. And it's really important for our families to know that we do all that we can to keep our hands off of students. And so we do a lot of training on how to de-escalate and help students through word and gesture. I also was able to attend the training on Monday night, and I appreciate our board attending and being so attentive and taking their role as trustees as because it's so important, and we appreciate your support to this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Andrew James.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. I wanted to let you know that the business office and HR office are this year working on updating and improving some processes and doing some streamlining of how data interacts to improve our processes and make things more efficient. Also, it's exciting to see work on the sports pavilions that are going up. We've been looking at samples of the colors for the floor. So we're hopeful that those will be done on time in May.
Thank you. Troy Cox.
Hi, Happy New Year, everybody. Good to see everybody here. Welcome to 2025. Curriculum and instruction is currently knee deep in PLCs. We have new focus coming into the new year in January. We will be doing the second benchmark coming up in February. We will have a district correlation after as well, where we will review the data and look at our student achievement data and use that to plan our intervention. We're also in the process of completing our mid-year LCAP update, which will be the February meeting. We'll bring the mid-year data that shows where we ended on our dashboard and how that plays into the LCAP planning moving forward. That'll be the next meeting. And we also tonight have the SARCs for each of the school to be presented to the board at a later time. So thank you.
Thank you. And Holly Gutierrez.
I do not have anything tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. We will now move on to comments by the public. At this time, the board will extend an invitation to interested parties who wish to speak on matters which are school related. For those attending remotely who wish to comment, use the raise a hand button to be called on to speak. Is there any comments?
No, there are not.
Okay. We'll move on to the action session. Do we have any? Okay, apologize for that. Public comments on action items. The board will extend invitation to interested parties who wish to speak on items that are listed on the agenda. For those attending remotely who wish to comment, use the raise your hand button to be called on to speak. The Brown Act does not allow the governing board to discuss or take action on any item that is not on the posted agenda. Are there any comments? Okay, we'll now move on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion, but I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Um, the first thing I would like for the newer members of the board is to maybe discuss the tie-breaking criteria. Just give a quick explanation.
So every year, we work with OETA and go over the language that's in the contract for tie-breaking situations. We use the tie-breaking situations in the event of a layoff, when we're overstaffed or things of that nature. And the tie-breaking or the criteria has to do with, starts with seniority, need of a position. For example, a special ed position might have more weight because of a specific need than maybe another position, because we're legally responsible to have special ed teachers. That's kind of a loose definition, but it's a criteria that kind of a ranking of where teachers are at in the pecking order in the case of a layoff or a, pink slips. Want to reiterate that we're not in that mode right now, but every year we bring back this tie-breaking criteria for the board to vote on, just so that in the case that we need to use it, we've already done that process.
Thank
And,
you.
Beth, did you have anything to add? I know I've worked on it in the past with you.
My second question was about the lease agreement with Eastside Children's Center.
Yeah, what's your question?
So it says in here that we are to remove number 7 on
Yeah,
the contract.
we just
because-
redid the lease for the Eastside Children's Center with BCOE.
Mhm.
Maybe last meeting or the meeting before. There was one thing that was outstanding that we were still debating, and that was this section, which is from the original old contract, this waiver of subrogation. And the old contract was probably 10 to 15 years old.
Mhm.
This was something that after they talked to their insurance company, they felt that it would be best to remove it. So they wanted it removed. I didn't see an issue with it. So that's what the amendment is to the contract, is to take that one section out. I don't know that it's, it's just the new boilerplate language. This is the old boilerplate language. So
Okay.
Any more questions? Can I get a motion?
We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Any abstain? Passed with 5 yes votes. New business, approved memorandum of understanding with California School Employees Association, January 9th, 2025.
So it is recommended that the MOU with CSEA regarding compensation for classified employees working on the National Day of Mourning for President Jimmy Carter on January 9, 2025 be approved. Through our process that working with CSEA, we come to an agreement in their contract. It states that any kind of holiday or special day of recognition that's declared by the governor or president allows them the opportunity to take it as a holiday. In this case, it only happened a couple days before when it was announced. We had school schedules for that day. There was no way of calling a holiday for all our classified staff because they're a vital part of our schools. They're the ones who bring us to school. They're the ones that feed us. They're the ones that clean it, and take care of the kids and do a number of things to keep our schools open, for which we appreciate. And because we needed to keep our schools open, and part of the contract, as a holiday, we paid them time and a half.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions? Can I get a motion to approve? Thank you, Bill. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstain? Passed with 5 yes votes. Approved certification form for independent study plan.
S- I have this, yeah. So for the independent study plan, part of our federal program monitoring and local state monitoring is we have to approve a plan. So when we have our audit that they know, it's just part of the requirements to be able to use independent study to claim ADA. Just a normal thing we do. And the only change that happened this year to the independent study plan is the new assembly bill that changed it from 14 to 15 for short term. So we added one more day. That was the only addition to this plan this year.
And Troy, wasn't another change. It used to be that they had to have at least 3 days consecutive for independent study, and now they can do independent study through their school for 1 day.
Absolutely, yes. And that changed, which is a big change because there are parents that need to leave on a Friday for something over a weekend, and this would allow them to do that now. It does create a little more work at the school, but it does make it more available for our community members. So, yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Does the board have any questions? Can I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Can I get a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstain? Passed with 5 yes votes. Approve affidavit of governing board members.
So this is what we call a J13. And what this is when there is a emergency and schools are closed, we're able to apply a waiver to the state saying, hey, we normally would have had this many kids there that day, but because of circumstances, there were less kids. We'd like you to give us a waiver so we don't have to have a loss in funding for that 1 day. Or many days, depending on the nature of the disaster or circumstance. This particular waiver has to do with the day after the shooting at the Feather River Adventist Academy. Our ADA, our actual students in seats at Ashi Hills Middle School, was down significantly. So we're saying, hey, government, this was something that was out of our hands. We'd like you to provide us a waiver so we can have full funding for that day. So you'll probably see a J13 waiver about once a year, hopefully less, right? Because typically it means we're responding to some sort of disaster, but we had them during, evacuations, different types of scenarios. So this is the one that we have for the Palermo school shooting.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions? Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstain? Passed with 5 yes votes. Approved 2023-24 school accountability report cards, SCARs.
So all of these school accountability report cards were reviewed and created. They were created by the principals, and the new accountability data, as well as the names of the principals at each site, were up. They were all redone this year, submitted to me, reviewed through the curriculum and instruction department, and approved to be presented to you this evening.
I have some concerns. Every single year, the SARCs come and they're incomplete and they're inconsistent. There's one that's completely missing the suspensions, expulsions data. I could have gone through the whole thing and made more of a list, but I didn't. scores are half of the state average, which is a bit concerning. These are I think we also need to remember that these are last year's scores, which is still coming off of COVID. They don't reflect this year, which is a bit of a silver lining for me personally. Yeah, the chronic absenteeism at Central Middle School is appalling. Well, was appalling. There was a part in Stanford Middle Schools where they were detailing how parents will be contacted, how volunteers will be solicited, how the school will support the students. And it says nothing about how they are doing those things, how they are performing, how they are supporting. Yeah, just a few concerns that, yeah, when there need to be reviewed, they need to be. These are documents that I appreciate are required because of certification.
Mhm.
But on the other side of that coin, they're presented to us as a bit of supporting of their schools, and to not have the principals here to support that. And when I first started as a little board member, the principals came to all of our board meetings. We never see them anymore. I still think that they need to come. And when the SARCs are being presented, that's even more of a reason. It just shows that they want to be part of the conversation, you know, for us to know what's going on in their schools, to know that they feel that the SARCs are important, that they are a metric for them to follow. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Any more comments from the board?
I did. I also reviewed them all, and I have to agree with Sandra that there were quite a few things I noticed similar, that Central's absenteeism was
Not-
shocking. When I first saw it, I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it.
Not the
Like,
only
that's gotta be a
one.
mistake. Yeah.
There was another one that's 30%.
Yeah, there's, yeah, quite a few. It was interesting to see, and I know it's last year's. On a positive note, I did enjoy their descriptions of their schools and some of the things that some of them included, things that they're doing, that type of thing. I was curious about TK, because that's not included. Is that, I know it's not at all sites, but is that just a state thing and isn't included?
TK has its own plan. It's the UP-TK plan, so that it's written in a different form. Yeah.
Do we need a SARC for the preschool?
No, it's not a requirement of anything below K.
Okay.
Any more questions from the board? Can I get a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the SARCs for the 23-24 school year.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstain? Passed with 5 yes votes. I'm gonna move on to personnel. Approve subsequent variable term waiver, school, social work. Diyashi?
Oh,
What's her name?
that's as close as I've gotten, yes.
Okay.
And I just want to make one small change. Instead of subsequent issuance, what's the word we have to use? Variable term. So I'm gonna read it and ask for a motion, but what these are for is we have two soon-to-be employees of the district who are going through the social work program for what used to be school counseling, where it's called pupil personnel services, and there was just school counselor under that credential. Now there's school social work and school counseling. And with this, for them to be able to get enrolled in their program and then subsequently work with us as an intern, we need to give them a waiver so that we can apply to have them be a waiver to work as an intern as part of their school program. It's gotten very difficult. It used to be a lot easier to get these type of internships, and the state is now requiring these candidates to have masters before they can start their program because because they're doing so much more work with the mental health side of it. And so these waivers just allow them to kind of get into a program and also become intern eligible so that we can pay them.
Board have any questions?
And it is recommended that an appeal for the variable term waiver, school social work from the Commission on Teacher Credentialing be approved for Desiree Ayache.
Good job. Can I get a motion to approve the variable term waiver, school social work with amendment?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstain? Pass with 5 yes votes. Proofs of subsequent variable term waiver for school social work for V. Barty.
So this is exactly the same. This is for Veronica Barde, and just for the sake for the board to know and for the general public to know, we are paying for these additional school social workers or / counselors through a state grant that we received last year. And so these positions are all grant funded for the next 5 years.
And are we also taking out the word subsequent?
And we're taking out the word subsequent, so it's recommended that an appeal for the issuance of a variable term waiver, school social work from the Commission on Teacher Credentialing be approved for Veronica Barde.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the variable term waiver, school social work for V. Barty with the amendment? Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstain? Pass with 5 yes votes. And we will adjourn the meeting at 5:35.